Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Government House Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Ngunnawal. I acknowledge your traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Ngunnawal people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present, emerging leaders, and extend that courtesy to any other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders gathered here with us this afternoon. My name is Paul Singer, and I'm the Official Secretary to the Governor-General. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm also the Secretary to the Council for the Order of Australia, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for admissions and awards into the General Division of the Order. And the Governor-General is both the Chancellor of the Order of Australia and the Principal Companion of the Order. I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for bravery awards. Before we start the ceremony this afternoon, I'd like to acknowledge among our distinguished guests, Commodore Darren Kavanagh, representing the Chief of Navy, Lieutenant General Rick Burr, Chief of Army, Air Commodore Karen Ashworth, representing the Chief of Air Force, Mr Mark Gibson, Commissioner for the Volunteer Rescue Agency of New South Wales, and Ms Nicole Rose, representing the National Intelligence Community. Welcome all. Notwithstanding the challenges presented by the pandemic, we're delighted that we're able to proceed with this ceremony this afternoon. We're grateful for your understanding of and your compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure that this ceremony can take place in a COVID-safe manner. The Australian Honour System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise and celebrate ordinary people who do extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, almost 400,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military, or their national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service, and it's important to note that nominations come from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their friends, their families, and their communities. It's a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. My Government House colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the recognition and celebration of that achievement, and we look forward to making this afternoon a day that we hope you can all recall with pride for a long time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and then remain standing and join for the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. And the investiture will then begin in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, they'll return via the central aisle to take up their seats at the back of the room. And it's at this point you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause. At the conclusion of the ceremony, the Governor-General will say a few words, and then once the ceremony is complete, we'll invite the recipients to join with Her Excellencies out on the state entrance for an official photograph. At this point, we invite the guests to remain briefly in the room until the Excellencies and the recipients have departed, and then everyone will be invited into the dining room where refreshments will be served. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Would you please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and Mrs Linda Hurley, and for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Good afternoon all, and Linda and I and the staff at Government House here at Yarralumla absolutely delighted to be sharing this very special day in the lives of our recipients and their families and friends this afternoon. Can I begin by acknowledging that Government House at Yarralumla sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people. If you're a Canberran, and I say this quite often in this house, if you're a Canberran, you'll know how beautiful this area is, the surrounds down at Namadgi and so on. And we do thank the Ngunnawal people for looking after it for us for generation after generation and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. As I said, this is an exciting day, and it's a day where we acknowledge extraordinary contributions to our country. Linda and I, though, have the privilege of being able to travel around Australia quite frequently during any given year to visit Australians at their work, at their play, in celebrations, and at times, unfortunately, on our darkest days. Through all that experience, the one thing that keeps coming back to us, and the term we use here at Government House to describe it, is the richness of spirit in the Australian community. That continual ability to go beyond self, to give to others, to work for the community, to see a need and respond to it. It's a magnificent trait in our community. And the Order of Australia, our honours and awards, primary honours award system, is designed to recognise those efforts. Our honours and awards system was introduced in 1975 to replace the Imperial award system. It has what I think unique, perhaps characteristic compared to other systems around the globe, and that is it's a bottom-up system. So what do I mean by that? Every person who comes through the door, particularly in the community-related awards, was nominated by a fellow citizen in their community. Ours is not a system where elites in Canberra, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne decide that Sue, John, Wendy and Bill have done great work in our community and I'm going to give them a medal. People are only acknowledged if they're nominated. I want you to bear that in mind because at the conclusion of the formal ceremony, I'm going to issue some homework. The children don't expect homework when they come here, but you're going to have it. And actually, I'll be the marker of it. But I'll explain how that works after we've conducted the formal ceremony. Can I make a particular point of thanks to the families that are here today? I know that, again, no one walks through that door to be acknowledged in this system who hasn't been supported on the home front. So to partners, family, friends, and so on who are here today in support and who have supported each of the recipients, thank you very much for what you've done. This is very much a day for you as it is for them. I have a bride here of 38 years, a military wife. We know exactly how this works. And we're delighted to have you here today to also share in this particular occasion. It is a joyous day. As you came in through the driveway, you would have noticed the lawns are looking pretty good today. I've been mowing all week. Our garden staff keep this place spick and span. Everyone's dressed in their finest clothes. There's medals and so on all around the place. There's a bit of pomp and ceremony. There's a military band. That's as it should be. This and our similar week in September are two of the highlights of the year for us at Yarralumla when we do recognise outstanding Australians. But it is also an Australian Government House, so you're allowed to relax a bit, breathe when you need to, and applaud at the appropriate moments. This is a day of celebration, and we're delighted to be able to share it with you. So on that note, I will now commence the formal investiture ceremony.
Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment as an officer in the General Division of the Order of Australia, Dr. David Gruen, for distinguished service to the public administration, to economic research, to business and to education. Dr. Gruen has made a committed, career-long contribution to the delivery of high-quality public administration and is regarded as one of Australia's best macroeconomists. In his role with the G20 group of nations, he was seen as the go-to person to broker breakthroughs in new areas of international action. He led the group's work on countering the use of the internet for terrorism and extremism. As Executive Director of the Treasury's macroeconomic group, he played a key role in formulating our rapid fiscal policy response to the global financial crisis in 2008. As a Deputy Secretary in the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet, he drew on his considerable economic experience to provide sound advice to our nation's leaders. He has served as Australia's statistician since 2019. Dr. Gruen has championed best practice to improve the lives of all Australians, and we honour him today. Dr. David Gruen, appointed an Officer of the Order. Appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, the late Miss Susan Salthouse, to be accepted by her daughter, Miss Louisa Fernside, for significant service as an advocate for people with disability and to the prevention of family violence. Miss Salthouse was one of those rare people who devoted her life to social justice and to bring about positive change. She was a staunch advocate for those with disability and their right to accessible housing and economic security. She worked extensively with a number of organisations to develop leadership training projects for women and held board positions on a number of organisations, including the Independent Advisory Council of the National Disability Insurance Scheme Expert Panel in the ACT. She was widely respected for her endeavours to prevent violence against women with disability, and her work on policy reform in this area was pivotal in creating change. Ms Salthouse has left a lasting and positive legacy, and we are a better society as a result of her efforts. Ms Louisa Fernside accepts the insignia of a member of the Order on behalf of her mother, Miss Susan Salthouse. Appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, Ms Joan Warhurst, for significant service to education and to research and curriculum development. Ms Warhurst has made a dedicated contribution as a teacher, university lecturer and curriculum specialist. She's been an advocate for education and educational policy, particularly through her roles with the Australian Curriculum Studies Association, the National Catholic Education Commission and the Australian Association for Research in Education. She's worked tirelessly in the areas of curriculum development and reform and has also focused on equity, diversity and Indigenous education initiatives. Additionally, she served on the board of the Asian Education Foundation, working to improve the delivery of resources and programs to 20 Asia-Pacific nations. Ms Warhurst's achievements have provided immeasurable benefit to education systems, both nationally and internationally. Ms Joan Warhurst, appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member of the Order in the General Division, Mr David Williams, for significant service to people with disability and to education. Mr. Williams has been steadfast in his commitment to helping people with intellectual disability. He founded the Confident Speakers program in 1996, where participants are provided with the tools and skills required to communicate to the broader community. The results of the program have been extraordinary, with participants going on to deliver presentations and papers at international conferences, including the World Down Syndrome Day at the United Nations. He's also given significantly of his time to organisations such as the ACT Down Syndrome Association and Special Olympics Greater Canberra Club. Mr. Williams is a very fine example of someone who contributes to the good of our community. Mr. David Williams appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member of the Order in the Military Division, Warrant Officer Grant McFarlane, for exceptional service in senior Regimental Sergeant Major appointments, culminating in the appointment of Regimental Sergeant Major of the Army. Warrant Officer McFarlane has served the Australian Army with distinction over a career spanning 40 years. His contributions have improved the profile and reputation of the Army within the community, most recently during a time of uncertainty due to natural disasters and the COVID-19 pandemic. His appointment as Regimental Sergeant Major of the Army has seen him recognised as the first amongst equals and an expert regarding soldiering in the Army. His contribution to training reform, organisational and positive cultural change, and his approach to the career management of soldiers has been of great benefit to the development of junior and senior leaders. Warrant Officer McFarlane is an exemplar of the values of our Defence Force and of the Australian Army. Warrant Officer Grant McFarlane appointed a member of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Anne Haycock, for service to tennis. Mrs. Haycock has devoted herself to the promotion of the sport of tennis at both the local and national level for over 4 decades. She served on both the board and council of Tennis ACT in a range of roles, including as president of the ladies branch. She subsequently was the first female president of Tennis Seniors ACT and was made a life member in 2015. Nationally, she undertook the role as Director of the Australian Senior Tennis Championships and for her efforts was awarded the Tennis Australia's Senior Administrator of the Year. Mrs. Haycock's continued advocacy for or participation of seniors in tennis has been influential in providing improved health and social benefits for our community. Mrs. Anne Haycock awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Mary Nielsen, for service to the community as a church organist. for service to the community as a church organist. Mrs. Nielsen has given more than 50 years of musical service to the people of Canberra as a church organist and musical accompanist. She is known for her technical brilliance and musicality on the pipe organ. She's devoted many hours to practice and preparation and dedicated her talent to supporting people in times of celebration, grief, reflection, enjoyment and commemoration. She's also given concerts and recitals for a range of charitable initiatives and has accompanied a number of choirs, including the Canberra Choral Society. Mrs. Nielsen's dedication and commitment to her community are most noteworthy and very deserving of our recognition. Mrs. Mary Nielsen awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Julie Kulikovsky, for service to community health. Ms. Kulikovsky has more than 3 decades of experience in social work in the areas of oncology and palliative care. She's deeply committed to supporting patients and their families as they attempt to navigate their way through life-limiting illness and grief. Her ability to empower people to their highest worth provides significant comfort for them through their final weeks and days, and she approaches her work with a deep respect for the diversity of each person's cultural background. She also inspires her colleagues to work compassionately and respectfully in all aspects of wellbeing for patients. Ms. Kulikovsky is committed to providing best practice in palliative care, and she is an asset to the ACT community. Ms. Julie Kulikovsky awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, the Reverend Gail Mills, for service to chaplaincy and to the Anglican Church of Australia. Reverend Mills has tirelessly devoted more than 15 years of service to the Australian Federal Police as a chaplain. Throughout her career with the Australian Federal Police, she's displayed the utmost empathy, knowledge and compassion while providing spiritual guidance and pastoral care to all members within the force and to their families. She's been a champion of the welfare and well-being of members to ensure the force's workforce remains healthy, resilient and ready to meet the unique and evolving challenges policing agencies face on a daily basis. Reverend Mills has also been at the forefront of National Police Remembrance Day services, police funerals and police graduations, ensuring that the dignity and sanctity of those occasions are maintained to the highest standard. The Reverend Gail Mills awarded the Medal of the Order. We move now to the Conspicuous Service Awards. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Chief Petty Officer Anthony Sherbird, for meritorious devotion to duty in the field of Navy information warfare. Chief Petty Officer Sherbird's achievements in the Joint Electronic Warfare Operational Support Unit delivered exceptional outcomes for Navy. His provision of mission-relevant electronic warfare libraries ably met the fleet's operational demands, and his efforts were critical to Navy Information Warfare Branch as it led to 2017 remediation of tactical electronic warfare capability. As the sole electronic warfare specialist within the branch, he guided the offshore patrol vessel and Hunter-class frigate projects and was vital in achieving final acceptance testing for Navy's electronic support system. Chief Petty Officer Sherbird's expertise and achievements have been in the finest tradition of our Defence Force. Chief Petty Officer Anthony Sherbird awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Warrant Officer Class 2, Graham Grease-Hubbard. For meritorious devotion to duty as the Operations Warrant Officer of the Royal Military College of Australia. Warrant Officer Grease-Hubbard's support to 2 separate national emergencies is highly commendable. His relationship building was fundamental to the support Dunchurin Garrison provided to Emergency Service Australia during Operation Bushfire Assist and Operation COVID Assist. In demanding and evolving environments, he designed and coordinated responsive military support for displaced civilians and to those needing to be quarantined due to COVID. At the Dunchurin Garrison, he has been central to the design and delivery of staff training for security and emergency response, and his advice is actively sought by the Australian Federal Police and ACT Fire and Emergency Services. Warrant Officer Grease-Hubbard's accomplishment reflect his dedication to duty. Warrant Officer Class 2, Graham Grease-Hubbard, awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Waite. For meritorious devotion to duty as Commander Australian Contingent Operation Berserker and Chief of Operations of the Multinational Force and Observers from the 21st of January 2020 to the 8th of February 2021. Lieutenant Colonel Waite assumed command of the Australian contingent in 2020 during the onset of COVID-19. The pandemic necessitated increased restrictions and the cancellation of leave, and he ensured his team was supported while remaining focused on their operational roles. As Chief of Operations, he sought opportunities to sustain observation patrols by air when ground-based conditions were prohibitive. He was instrumental in coordinating Australian efforts to overcome COVID-related challenges to enable the relief in place of the Fijian contingent, demonstrating support for our regional neighbour. Lieutenant Colonel Waite's deployment was conducted during a period of challenge and change, and his contributions to the mission are most noteworthy. Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Bate awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Squadron Leader Kathleen Kennedy. For meritorious devotion to duty in development and implementation of the Royal Australian Air Force's Professional Development Portal as the inaugural Content Manager. Squadron Leader Kennedy led a project to develop and implement a one-stop professional development portal for Air Force called The Runway. Using the Air Force Professional Military Education Framework as her guide, she created a portal that contains modern content in a readily accessible form. The Runway, launched in 2019, provides members with articles, research and innovative ideas across a range of topics, including air and space power, leadership, business skilling, communication, strategic influences, technology and well-being. Her dedication has resulted in the success of Air Force's first official professional military education website. Squadron Leader Kennedy's drive, innovation and professional mastery have delivered lasting improvements to our Defence Force. Squadron Leader Kathleen Kennedy awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. We move now to the Meritorious Service Awards. Awarded the Australian Police Medal, Detective Superintendent Anita Van Hilst. For distinguished service to the Australian Federal Police, particularly in the areas of international policing and counter-terrorism. Detective Superintendent Van Hilst joined the Australian Federal Police in 1998, commencing in ACT policing. She later moved to criminal investigations and then to the legal team, before transferring to national investigations at AFP headquarters. During her policing career, she served on international deployments to New Zealand, Thailand and Jordan, where she oversaw an increase in operational tempo due to the civil war in Syria. She forged strong partnerships with multinational agencies in the pursuit of terrorism offenders and was key to establishing AFP engagement at Operation Gallant Phoenix in Jordan. Since 2020, Detective Superintendent Van Hilst has worked in the Counter-Terrorism and Special Investigations Command, where she continues to serve with distinction. Detective Superintendent Anita Van Hilst awarded the Australian Police Medal. Awarded the Emergency Services Medal, Mr. Mark Spencer, for distinguished service to the Volunteer Rescue Association. Mr. Spencer joined the Bennelong Volunteer Rescue Association in 1979 and currently serves as a registered General Land Rescue Operator. He's also been the captain of the Bennelong VRA for over 30 years, during which time he's attended many emergency situations. He's a valued mentor for squad members and new recruits and provides clear guidance and instructions on all rescue operations techniques. He's on call 24 hours a day to undertake emergency responses duties for the VRA and for the community of Bennelong. Mr. Spencer has demonstrated superior dedication and commitment to the safety of his community for over 40 years. Mr. Mark Spencer awarded the Emergency Services Medal. awarded the Australian Intelligence Medal, Dr. John Moss, for distinguished service to the national intelligence community. Dr. Moss has been a dedicated senior intelligence professional for nearly 30 years. Through his efforts, he significantly transformed the Australian Transaction Reports and Analysis Centre's financial intelligence capability. This capability forms a critical part of our nation's financial defences, particularly the prevention and disruption of money laundering, terrorism financing, and other serious crimes. A thought leader in the global criminal intelligence arena, he challenges the status quo, inspires innovation, and has played an integral role in Commonwealth law enforcement and national security. Dr. Moss's achievements have been of the highest order and are most deserving of our recognition. Dr. John Moss awarded the Australian Intelligence Medal. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this afternoon.
We have now acknowledged each of the recipients individually. I think it would be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Congratulations. Now to homework. You'll have seen, particularly in the community recipients who came through the door today, the wide range of activities that people are recognised for in their contribution to our community, to our country. As I said at the beginning, they only can appear in that door if they are nominated. So your homework is to go home. You know the people in your community who are performing at that level, who merit, they warrant being recognised in our country. Please nominate them. Well, my official secretary, Paul, will tell you how to nominate. My job is to tell you to nominate. I want you to bear a couple of things in mind, though, as you consider nominations. There are three issues that we are particularly working on with the order at the moment. One, we are still underrepresented in women. The number of women recognised has significantly increased in recent years, but we need to continue to do that. So you know who those women are in our community. Secondly, our order still doesn't yet recognise or reflect the multicultural nature of Australia. We need to do more work in that area. And thirdly, I would say the same about Indigenous communities in Australia. So we need to be working on those three areas. So when you go home, you look around, look at those people, nominate. If you do not nominate, they can't come through the door. And that's how I mark your homework. You nominate, in a year or two, hopefully that person, if deemed so by the council, will come through the door to be acknowledged. So please think about it. I often speak to people who say in the community, I can't understand why Mrs. So-and-so has never been recognised in the Order of Australia. Well, I can tell you why. People recognise her work, but they don't nominate. It's as simple as that. So there's your homework. Again, to families, thank you in particular for your support for our recipients. Greatly appreciated. I used to say privately to each of the members, I'll now say publicly, though each of those recipients received their bling today, they need to do some shopping for their partner in support of this. So I don't know how you work that out, but that's up to you. But this is a family affair. Now, Linda and I look forward to catching up with each of you, with the recipients and their families here today, friends, and enjoying this day of celebration to recognise some outstanding Australians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to assist with the homework that the Governor-General has issued, if you think that there's someone that's worthy for consideration for recognition in the Order of Australia, I invite you to access the online nomination form, which is available on the Governor-General's website at www.gg.gov.au. And as the Governor-General says, we look forward to welcoming those that have been successful through that process to an investiture such as this in the future. I now invite the recipients to join their excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph. Would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs. Hurley.